Hi, my name is Melissa. I work for Polk State College, which is located in Central Florida. I am a student services specialist there. My role is I'm very much a generalist. I work with students starting as early as completing their online application and all the way through helping them figure out a transfer major. I do career exploration, advising, I facilitate different workshops. I do a lot of different things and I wear a lot of different hats. And I'm very grateful for that because I feel like I'm getting a very well-rounded perspective of what it's like to work in student services. And I really do enjoy what I do. Now, in my undergraduate years, I was a psychology and criminology major, so I took quite a few theory-based classes, and I did not like them. I thought the textbooks were painfully boring, but I made it through and I did well in them. And it wasn't until just recently that I realized studying theory as much as I did probably changed the way that my brain is shaped. Many of you know that when this program started, I was at home recovering from surgery. And the first 6 days of my recovery, I spent with my Granny Joe. And we spent 6 days watching In the Heat of the Night and Bonanza and other kind of old time detective shows from and when I say old time, I'm not talking about the 60s and the 70s. There were shows with horse-drawn carriages and wagons that I can't remember the names of. But at one point, she handed me the remote control, and we found like a recent episode of Dateline and an episode of Criminal Minds. And we watched one episode of Criminal Minds and I found myself comparing and contrasting the differences between those TV shows. And I think that's when I realized that those theory-based classes had really kind of changed the way that I look at things, because I honestly feel like I could have written a thesis in the 6 days that I spent over there watching those television shows with her. So student development theory is not something that we talk about in my office at all. It's not something that's brought up. We work with students and we do everything that we can think of to help them get to the best outcome that they can come across. You know, I said earlier that I feel like my job combines social work and education, and it very much does. You know, I'm just as likely to be sitting across my desk from a 70-year-old woman as I am to be sitting across from a 16-year-old gifted student. So, and I'm thankful for that kind of diversity, but sometimes the things that I deal with my students are much more social. I've worked with homeless students to help them find places that they can live. I've worked with students who have struggled with addiction or are currently struggling with addiction and other very serious mental health issues. So we don't really talk about student development theory, but I am very interested to learn more in this course and see what it is that I can do to better serve these students that I work with. Now, for this week's readings, what I found most interesting was the idea that I could apply Erickson's developmental theory to students as they enter into college, especially the community college. You know, when they first come in, that could be, you could look at that almost as their infancy. So at that point, they're either learning trust or mistrust. So how we help them, they're either going to come to trust the institution or they won't. And then you really could progress through the stages the rest of that way, just looking at my students and the ways that they grow. So that was my biggest takeaway from this week's readings, and I definitely look forward to learning more and realizing how I can apply what it is that I learn to being able to better serve the students that I work for. Now, on a personal level, I have a 5-year-old little boy. You may hear him from time to time screaming in the background or coming to say hello. He is amazing. He's very smart and he's very curious. So anytime he sees me in the computer, he's usually right there next to me. I also, personally, for hobbies, I like to work out a lot. I run races. Mud races are my favorite. The most recent one I did was the Savage Race. There you go. Really proud of myself for completing that one. It was a 6.5 mile, really serious mud run. I was very dirty and it was a lot of fun. It took 2 weeks to get the mud out from underneath my nails, but I really enjoyed it. So I've really enjoyed learning with everyone in the cohort so far, and I look forward to continuing as the semester and the program goes on. So that's pretty much me. Bye.